So a lot of what we see on the internet is total garbage. Almost all of it. And it's just headlines they create, news they create so they can talk about something and distract the people. But in all the garbage, we have seen real things happen. And I believe that we are in the process of seeing something real happen again, finally. When I say real things, I just mostly mean poor people getting money. And AMC is the only perfect example that I've seen where it was public knowledge. Everyone was saying buy AMC. And people bought it and it went up and everyone made money. Well, since it's happened that time, it's never really happened again. There's been a couple things, if you're really paying attention, you could have jumped onto. But there was nothing that was public knowledge and had to be talked about and couldn't be swept under a rug. And because there were 7 million people watching and investing in AMC, they had to pay them because they couldn't break the rules if there's 7 million people watching and everyone's just like, what the fuck happened to our free market? But with MULN, there was a lot less people. And because there's so few of us, they're able to sweep all the injustice under the rug. But it's always temporary. And the only question is how long until this all plays out. A couple things that I'm looking at suggest that we hear. So the things that I'm most looking forward to right now is the ICJ review, which is supposed to take place tomorrow, but probably won't hear nothing about it till next week. But the idea that if we win in one thing, like I feel like this is a Black Swan event where we win in everything. All it takes is one thing to win, and we win in everything. Now, what I mean by that is, like I feel, and if you're watching, you should feel the same way, America is occupied by Israel. Israel is occupying Palestine. Israel is occupying the entire world with the global system that they created, and everyone takes part in it because they like it. And if, like, the point of this ICJ review, it's not to press criminal charges, it's not to arrest any politicians, it is simply to stop the war, stop the genocide, stop the war crimes, such as cutting off the water, food, and all the other things, which is obviously the opposite position of what they take when they get on the podium and shout their strong words saying that they're going to go until they eliminate Hamas, which then they say is every single Palestinian. They say there are no civilians, there are no innocents, just goyim, just the cattle. And so, obviously, if they lose the right to continue their bombings and stuff, well, that would suggest that they're losing the right to more other things, right? Like, if we win one thing, we win everything. So I like the idea of winning the violence factor. And then, what else do we have going on? Well, so the end of next week is the debt ceiling. And so this is the first debt ceiling of all debt ceilings where the debt ceiling was going to get, like, the government was going to shut down. But instead of shutting down over the border, the Democrats agreed to take out funding for Ukraine and Israel out of their temporary CRs. You've never seen the Democrat cave on anything to extend a debt ceiling. They always hold it to the last day, and then the Republicans cave. This time the Democrats cave, and very few people noticed it. And most people look at what they're saying and see the same story. But this is the first time where it was different. And so the conclusion of Ukraine and Israel funding, whatever that's going to turn out to versus the border. If we win the border, we win everything. And then we have the stocks. We got the SPX at 47.83. Its 52-week high is 47.92. Its all-time high is 48.18, maybe 48.13. And every time that retails got paid, the stock market was always at its all-time high. And so that sets us up for a strong position for a squeeze. So we know January 2021 was GME squeeze, and then February again it squoze, and then we know in April or May, end of May, squoze again, and you can just see that all-time highs. And so we've taken this 2-year dip basically, and now we're back to all-time highs. And we were at 52-week highs back all the way over here, July and August, and it looked like a perfect setup for a squeeze, but then it didn't happen. Israel war started, all these things happened, but it was just nothing was enough to break one of the backs on something that we're fighting for, whether it's border security, whether it's freaking ending genocide with Israel and Palestine, or whether it is just a good old-fashioned MOAS stock squeeze. Now, we see that's all primed up. We know some deadlines are coming, and then we just look at MULN. And first, at the 5-year, you're going to see ridiculous stuff. So MULN really started back in 2022, and it would have been about February is when it hit its low. And then we squoze up to 65,000. This after all the reverse splits. And this was retail causing the squeeze right here. So basically from here up to here, we caused that squeeze. So from the time that people have been buying MULN, just a break even for those people would be $65,000 a share. And if we look at the 1 year, it's at $10,000 a share. And if we look at the 1 month, we've had extreme volatility, and of all the volatilities that have happened, this is the first volatility where we've seen 100% gains in a day, and it was from December 20th to the 21st. It went from $8, like a $7 low, all the way to, I think it was $18, and it was up like 140%. And the first time we've seen that in 2 years. And last time we saw it, it went up 200%, and then it halted, and then the next day it crashed all the way down to 52 cents, and then it squoze. Or no, it crashed down to 72 cents, and then it squoze. The first time, so it was at 52 cents, it ran to $2, halted, came down to $1, then 72 cents, and then it ran up to $4.18. But now that's $65,000 based on all the reverse splits and all the price crashing. And so right now, MULN market cap, when it did the reverse split on December 21st, was a $5 million float, or 5 million shares float, and meaning the market cap's only 50 million-ish. And they may have added some shares, done their final dilution here, but it looks like we are in another setup to where we go up, down, up, fight the resistance, and then if they can't bring us down, we got to go up. And so it does feel like we're going up way, way high very, very soon. Just based on everything that I'm looking at. Like, MULN's the one thing that you can put your money into if you feel like you're fighting against the man and you want to hit big. And I don't know, just looks like now's the time. If there was ever a perfect setup, now looks like the perfect setup. And so that's the other thing that I want to look at, is if we just look at kind of how these, like, because MULN's been the king of dropping the new lows for 2 years straight, but it also has the most uptrends out of any stock over the last 2 years. So it has back-to-back 30, 40, 50% gain days, and it does it once a month after it drops a ton. And this is the first time where for over a month we've been holding the line. And it's either going to go way, way up here or drop way, way down and follow the old pattern. But like I said, just with everything lined up and these things that I'm waiting on, this feels like this could finally be the time. I sure hope so. Other thing that came out, last thing I'll mention, was the synagogue, the Jewish synagogue that had the tunnels and they just got filled up with cement. First off, if you believe those tunnels started getting built 6 months ago, you're out of your mind. If you believe that this hasn't been something they're been known about and been talking about what to do with it for some time, you're out of your mind. And so, I don't know, I see that as like an early victory where people in power, people in charge getting exposed, and I'm here for it. I'm excited. I really hope this is it, because if not, I'm probably gonna ghost. I mean, if this takes another fucking year, I don't know what I'm gonna do for a fucking year to pass time, but I gotta find something, because this is getting wild. Never thought it could have taken this long. And all it is people waking up, speaking truth to power. Every time enough people wake up with a big enough and real enough problem, it gets solved. They tried to do their COVID shit and it went away, and now they're bringing this Israel garbage and just acting like you're not allowed to say nothing bad about no Jews ever, like it's all nonsense. And it ain't gonna last. Terrible, terrible pains they brought to us. But I think we're about to get them. About fucking time too. Well, if you needed a little bit of hope, that's what this is for. I'm holding on to a couple things.